Good morning, you guys. Welcome back to Rocket City Yardstead. If you're new, my name's Sarah. So today we're doing a little bit of canning. It's been a while since we've done any canning, but this is for some holiday treats to take my neighbors. I used to take them cookies and candies every year, and I got out of the habit. And while I'm not making cookies and candies for them this year, I thought it would be nice to take them something. So I have some of that apple pie jam I made. I am going to bake sourdough loaves for the neighbors. And I came across a recipe for carrot cake jam that I thought seemed very fun and festive and seasonal. It sounds delicious. So I thought we could make that together. So at the moment, I'm grating up 1.5 cups of carrots. The carrots go in with pears that'll be peeled and diced, and a whole can of crushed pineapple, juice and all. This is a 20-ounce can. It's going to have cinnamon and clove, nutmeg. It just sounds delicious. I think I'm probably going to need to save a jar or two for my sister-in-law as well. I think she would probably really like this. But I'm just going to keep working my way through my carrots and get to that 1.5 cup measurement. Now I'm just peeling and chopping up my pears into these nice little fine pieces to go into our jam. Super easy peasy. Just want to peel them and core them, chop them into little pieces. So have any of you ever made the Christmas jam that's made with cranberries? I keep seeing stuff about it this year. It's the first time I've ever heard of it, but the cranberries thicken the jelly or jam because of all the natural pectin. And it said you can add whatever other fruits you want and seasonings. I actually saw a post from America's Test Kitchen, and that was what they said, that you could use your choice of fruits and seasonings, but then they gave what they did. But I'm just curious, have any of you ever made any, and what's your favorite go-to add-ins besides just the cranberries? Something I'd like to try in future if I could find a good recipe. I have our 1.5 cups of pears peeled and chopped up, so we will get those in our pot. And then we need to add, oh boy, y'all, 6.5 cups of sugar. I actually had to measure this out this morning because I wasn't sure I had enough and I had to run to the store. I was about 2 cups shy. So you guys, this is the point. So you guys, this is sort of the fork in the road. I could choose to just scrap everything I've filmed so far, start completely over, and not tell you that I made a really major mistake. I thought about it, I'll be honest, but that would not do anybody any good because mistakes happen, whether you're a new canner or a seasoned canner. Sometimes you just do something wrong. I made a pretty major mistake here. I put my sugar in with all of my fruit, my carrots, my seasonings. I wasn't supposed to do that. So this is not going to set. I am going to try and cook it so that maybe I can get some kind of syrup out of it, because I would hate to really waste all of these ingredients. But we're gonna have to start all over for the jam recipe. I can't give this to my neighbors. So I have an appointment this afternoon. I'm going to have to pick up new pineapple and new pears and we will start the jam all over. But I just want to be transparent with you guys and say, hey, I made a mistake and, I got to start over. So I will see you guys this afternoon. If I can figure out how to make this be more syrup-like, I will share it with you and we will make the jam the way it's supposed to be made. All right, y'all, I wanted to come back and give you an update. I'm standing here stirring this mixture that I messed up. So I'm trying to turn it into a syrup, and based on my research, it looks like we want to heat our sugar mixture to the thread stage, which is between 230 and 235 degrees Fahrenheit. So I have it on like a medium low heat at the moment because I want to give those carrots and pears time to soften. And then I'm going to get it up to a boil and we're going to try and get it to that 230 to 235 range. My hope is it's really going to turn out like a syrup because I think it's supposed to taste like carrot cake. So that would be good as a syrup on something like pancakes. All right, you guys, I wanted to show you. I heated it up according to the thread stage, but I've been trying the cold water method of testing it. And it looks like it is going to be a nice thready syrup. I don't know if that comes through on the camera or not, but I can see when it hits the cold water, it turns into threads. And you can pick it up and it's a little bit thready. So I think we've got it where we want it, and I'm actually going to can it up. Friends, I'm back from running errands and my appointment, and it's time for take two. I shredded up a cup and a half of carrots before I left. I just chopped up a cup and a half of pears, so we'll get those in there. We have our 20-ounce can of crushed pineapple and the juice. Now we'll get our seasonings in. So, teaspoon of cinnamon, quarter teaspoon of clove, quarter teaspoon of nutmeg, and I'm going to add the ginger because I like it. And I don't think I did it last time, but I'm actually going to add a little bit of salt because I just think it balances it. And the syrup is very sweet. I think it could use a little salt. So we're going to add that. So I'm going to get this stuff all stirred together and we are going to bring it to a boil. I checked and double checked the recipe to make sure I had it right this time. So I'll bring you guys over here and show you what this is looking like right now. As you can see, we just have our fruit and veggies in there. And we're gonna bring this to a boil and then pop a lid on it and let it simmer for 20 minutes. While we're letting the carrots and fruit simmer, I thought I would show you guys how the syrup turned out. So it's definitely thickened. I think this would be fantastic on ice cream. I think you could put it on pancakes. It's definitely a bit thicker than like a traditional pancake syrup, but it's delicious. I'm actually gonna leave a little on the spoon and lick it off. Very good. My mom was a little bit nervous about the pears in this recipe because we're not big pear fans, but she thought it tasted great and she couldn't even taste the pears. So I think it's a winner. We were curious about that because I've seen where some people substitute apples. So if you really don't like pears, I think you could do apples in this, but we didn't waste the first batch. I actually went ahead, let's see if I can handle it. I went ahead and canned 3 pint jars of it, and then this was what was left. So we will find uses for it, and it's not going to go to waste, but we'll make a batch that actually sets for the neighbors. Now that our fruit and carrots have simmered for 20 minutes, it's time to add pectin. I'm using the Sure-Gel brand, and the recipe calls for 6 tablespoons. That is just 1 box of the pectin. It's 1.75 ounces. So you don't actually have to get it out and measure. But you want to turn your pot off, get it off of the heat, and you want to stir that pectin in until you can't see any anymore. Then we'll bring it to a rolling boil that you can't stir down, and we'll add our sugar. I do want to say, I was a little bit nervous at this point because I don't know how well you can see it, but there is just very little liquid in here at this point. And I thought, is this really going to make a jam? But the jam turns out beautifully. So if you are like me, you make this and you're nervous at this point, it's going to come together. So I think from what I can see, I feel like we're there. It's really hard to tell. This is so dry. But the bubbles keep going even when I stir. So I'm going to add our 6.5 cups of sugar. I was just a smidge shy on the sugar, and so I added a couple tablespoons of brown sugar. So now we want to stir our sugar in here. Get it all nice and dissolved. And if you're like me and canning on induction, I did turn my temperature down because it takes a little bit of time to get the sugar all dissolved, and the induction top can actually heat things too fast, and you can end up with something reaching the boil or reaching temperature if you're candy making before your sugar is dissolved. So I like to turn that temperature down, get my sugar nice and dissolved, and then turn it back up to get to a boil. It's amazing how quickly that sugar made a difference and how soupy it looks, huh? I think we are good to turn this up. So now we're looking to bring this to a full rolling boil. And once it reaches that, we can't stir it down. We will set our timer for 1 minute. Y'all, we're getting close. I wanted to bring you back. It's about where I can't stir it down. We give it just a few more seconds, I think. And then we're gonna set our timer for 1 minute. Here we go. All right, y'all, so this is ready for us to jar up now. I've had my jars warming in my canner because it's really important for them to be warm when we're putting this hot jam in there. We don't want to shock the jars. Oh, I got to grab my funnel too. While I was at it, a rag to wipe the top of our jars with. So we want to fill this to a 1/4 inch headspace. I need to grab my debubbler tool too. I'll tell you what, y'all, this morning just really kind of got me out of my groove. But pull that out of there. Wipe the rim down, make sure there's nothing sticking on there so our lid seals well. And I definitely got it sticky, so it's good I'm doing this. Put a ring on, put a lid on, and put a ring on. I think I'm gonna need a mitt for holding it still while I put my ring on because that jam is hot. This one's ready to go back in the canner, and then I'll just repeat this with the rest of the jars. Y'all, I ended up with 7 half pints in the canner, And this little jar, almost full, so almost 8 half pints from this. I've got my lid on here. We've got about 1 inch of water above the jars, and we're just gonna bring this to a full rolling boil and then set our timer for 10 minutes. Once that's done, we'll take the lid off, turn the temperature off, and let these cool in the water for 5 minutes before pulling them out. But I just wanna encourage you guys, anybody can do this, even when you make mistakes like you saw I did today. And if you've never canned, but you have considered making something like this for the holidays, for family and friends and stuff like that, give it a try. It's not like pressure canning. You don't have to have special equipment. You just have to have a pot that you can put about 1 inch of water over the top of your jars. So let this be an encouragement. You can do it. Our jam has boiled for the 10 minutes and then sat and cooled for that extra 5. And now it's time to pull it out of the canner. Y'all, it feels like it took us quite a while to get here today, but I'm so happy to have this jam made. I think my neighbors will really like it. I think my family will like it too. So it was a good day, even when mistakes were made. Alas, jar's a different shape, but that's okay. So we got 7 canned pints of the jam and 3.5 sort of unexpected cans of the syrup. We will use them. We will find ways to use them. Like I said, I think it'd be great on ice cream, but I think my neighbors are really going to love this. And then I have the option of giving them apple pie jam or this carrot cake jam, or I also have the cherry jams I made earlier this year. And I know one of my neighbors is diabetic, so we will give him some of the no sugar added cherry jam that I made my mom. But lots of options for sharing with the neighbors. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope sharing that I made a pretty major mistake and had to start over helps somebody. I think sometimes it's really easy to gloss over mistakes and pretend like they don't happen in these online spaces, but y'all, it's real life and that does happen. So I guess let me be an example. Sometimes you just aren't thinking and you make a mistake and you have to pivot, but we didn't waste it. So I feel like that is a win. So thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I hope you're enjoying this holiday season and I'll see you next time. Bye.